and welcome back to the next episode of the Let's Play series, where you find me hard at work on the terraforming, trying to get this place looking a little bit better. So, where am I up to? What I've done is I have extended the cliff around the side a little bit like that. As I have said before, I am not the universe's greatest terraformer, and so I am working hard at cliffs at the moment, trying to make them look a bit more cliffy, if that happens to be a word. Not convinced it is, but never mind, we'll use it anyway. What I have done as well is I've dug out just a little bit of space underneath it, which, I definitely need to light up, but as you saw, there is a hole underneath there. And I will be able to use that for a bit of just additional storage if needed. And I can drop down from the house into that space as well, once I've lit it up. I won't be dropping down in there anytime soon. I have also, if I just come around here, started doing some work down on this cliff face down at the bottom. And what I'm thinking is I really like the way this path here comes around that little section of cliff, so I want to make that even more than it is at the moment. Extend this cliff right the way around, and then maybe meet it up with that one coming around the corner, so it's going to be really sort of jutting out to have a big cliff face just there on the end. I think that'll look pretty good, and it'll mean that inside here, it's going to mean a lot of terraforming. This area is going to have to be lifted up quite a long way, but I'll be able to put the train station, which is going to be just underneath there. It'll have an underground section where it'll be able to have all of the crops and things loaded onto it, which of course is eventually going to lead us up to the city. Not that we're anywhere near there yet. For now though, just trying to get this terrain looking a little bit better than it currently does. As you can see, I've extended it out underneath the house. It's still, I think, a little bit narrow. Not too sure that looks like it's strong enough to support that house, so maybe a little bit more work needed. So I will crack back on and bring you back in once I've got something to show for my efforts. Okay, so I didn't get very far after that last clip. In fact, all I did was dig out this little strip just here and then decided, do you know what, I really need to work out where this cliff face is going to go before I go any further. I don't want to end up chopping away terrain, then I just have to push straight back again. So what I've done is I have laid out a little bit of a path of where I think this cliff is going to go, hopefully in a vaguely naturalish sort of shape, trying to keep it with mostly curves going on, no particularly large straight areas. Then it'll go around the side in the direction of that lovely cave that's just over there. I'll try and blend it in with that, just to make that entrance maybe slightly bigger. What that's going to do though, because this comes quite close to the edge of the water, is maybe give us somewhere where these people will have built a building of some description that will be pumping water out of the river in order to water all of the crops on the other side. So we can set it up looking like they've got a bit of an irrigation system going. This area isn't too big, so it should be reasonably quick and easy for me to terraform, which is always nice to know. And as long as my cliff building skills live up to it, it should look pretty good. Of course, one of the really main great things about Crate Mod is that it does at least make jobs like this so much easier compared to actually having to dig things out manually. I mean, if I had to, especially with the state of my tools at the moment, they're basically just basic enchantments for whenever I've managed to actually get my levels up to 30, which is pretty rare to be honest. But if I had to dig all this out with those, it would take absolutely forever, and I'd probably go through about 1 million diamonds as well, considering the fact that I don't have mending. But with a nice little mining machine, this is able to just munch away at all of this terrain for me without me having to break much of a sweat. Look at him go. You chomp up all that terrain. Okay, and so progress has been made over on the cliffside. And actually I've done a little interior in here as well, because, well, when I was umming and ahhing over the cliff I didn't know what to do, so I came in here and just put a little tiny interior in our little bakery. As you can see, there's just a few little tables around where people can come and sit, and maybe while they're waiting for things to be cooked and have a coffee or whatever. Eventually I want to get hold of some books to pop in these little bookcases, and I know these are supposed to be baskets of potatoes, but they do kind of look like shelves of bread as well. If I popped maybe some trapdoors on there or something, that could be like a basket of rolls or something like that. They look just bready enough, I think, to be suitable in here. Anyway, enough about this little bakery, back to the far more important cliff, or at least certainly what I've been working harder on. So this is the cliff so far. As you can see, I've blended in the two of them and tried to make it look like it sort of becomes one big seamless cliff, rather than two little ones, and we're curving around the side. And I think it looks okay. At the moment, it's a little bit dramatic, it's a little bit rough and ready around this side, certainly. The only bit I'm not too sure about is just there, where that sort of connection is between the two. I just feel like it ends a little bit abruptly. Ooh. So, what I'm thinking I might do is try popping maybe a little tree in there or something, a little willow or something like that, maybe that's sort of coming over the edge just to soften this little area up, and in all honesty, slightly hide my shoddy cliff work. In fact, let me just have a little go at that now. So I've already got some, well, I've got a few leaves, I've not got a huge number, but there should be enough to make a start of a little bit of a tree. Yes, in here does need decorating still. I'll come back to in there. But what I'm thinking is, so going off the edge of this little bit of cliff here, this is a little bit of a rough patch where I've got those two blocks there going into this straight bit, so I don't like that neither. So what I'll do is we'll come out from here, I think, and we'll aim to put a tree off in that direction. A nice sort of willowy, bendy looking tree, like it started to grow up maybe, but then it was a little bit too close to this cliff edge, and so that it started to grow out into this open space where it would be able to get a little bit more light. Let's just build up a little bit and see what sort of a shape we can make here. I mean, it could even have two heads going off it if it has sort of one fluffy patch of leaves going off this way and one going off that way. So we could probably split going in this direction just to create something that is looking a little bit more wild, perhaps. How's that for a start of a shape that's leaning over? Might be going a little bit too high. Might be better off if it goes down rather than up like that. And on this side, I want it to do much the same, so I will split it off from... that's a little bit low. Let's split it off from this end here. We'll go off in this direction. Okay, I certainly wouldn't want it to go further out from there, but from here, if we then started popping some leaves on, you'd be able to see the sort of thing that I mean. Do not get me wrong, this is definitely going to have to get tweaked. But if we do that sort of thing, and then bring... Wow, I'm surprised that didn't kill me. But, okay, have I got anything to pull her up with? Yeah, I've got you. You'll do. Am I going to get mobbed? Maybe. Let's just go up and grab some of these leaves down. So, if we have them dangling down, like so, we should be able to make something that looks vaguely like a willow tree. Okay, so we're getting towards something. That is way too straight going down there. That looks really bizarre from this angle. So that'll need to get tweaked. But I think, in terms of size, this is probably going to be about as far as I want it to come out. What I'm thinking is this would be a really nice area to make like a rice paddy. Now that I've got the Farmer's Delight pack, I think it'd be really good to have rice and maybe a little bit of the sugarcane as well, with maybe a boardwalk or something meandering through it so that it's not sort of all straight lines. But anyway, that is future projects. Right now, focus on the tree. So... I think that's roughly as far down as I want the leaves to go. Yes, that's all the leaves I've got at the moment. It looks a little bit on the pathetic side, but that's okay. We'll fluff him up. But I think that's maybe about as far down as I want the leaves to go. Maybe just a couple more blocks, just so that it looks like it really is sort of coming out and then hanging right over that edge, and it's a nice big lush tree. At the moment, it looks like a squaggly little stick, but it will eventually look like a big lush tree. This is a process. So, trust that process. I will improve this, and I will be back in just a minute. Like that. I think that looks a little bit better. We are blocking up the view to that house, but that's okay. At least people can kind of go, ooh, I wonder what's up there, sort of thing, when they're on our boardwalk, which is going to be down here. And I do think that quite nicely stops this area from looking quite so rough, and it's looking a little bit more jungly and planty and a little bit more sort of established in this area as well. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with I am happy with that. All I need to do now is turn this all into a nice little wetlandy, swampy, ricey, sugary area, which is going to be a bit challenging when I don't currently have any rice still. Apparently I had a look on the wiki, and the only places that you can get it is a swamp or a jungle. Lol, they are the two places I have not been able to find yet, or I need to go down in the mines and go and find some rice seeds in the minecart chests. Yay! Because I'm definitely going to survive doing that. And so, that is something I will certainly get around to, but for now, I think I'm going to move on to the next project of the day. And that is going to be bees. So, we're going to take Spot out for a little bit of a ride. Whoop, hang on, Spot. Go over there. And we're going to go see if we can find some bees. And I'm 99.9% certain there's got to be some up on Cherry Hill. Unless, of course, they've all sort of flown away while I've been over there with the area loaded in. Oh, look, there's the island. Hi, island. I'll be coming back to you eventually as well. For now, though, I need to not kill my horse. Head up there and see if we can find some nice little bees. And here we are. There's the village. And look at all of these bees. There are loads around here. In fact, I think there are 5 hives just in this one little area. So we should be able to scoop up a load of bees and be able to quickly make up some hives and get them populated. Now, I think I need to use a campfire under you because I don't have silk touch. I might be completely wrong in that. But if I just put that there and I shear you... Oh, no. Nothing's come out to attack me. Oh, good. Right, okay. Let's get this made up then. Let's make ourselves some beehives and get the place stocked with bees. Well, so far breeding bees has been a success. There are certainly plenty of bees around here, and I've got 3 hives, which I think are now 3 bees each, so they're about as full as they're going to get. And this is then going to answer the big question. As these bees all go home, can I pick them up without silk touch? I am really hoping I can. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come back here with a load of leads and leash all of these bees up. But please, everybody just go back in, and then I'm going to try and pick one of these hives up. I have a really bad feeling about this. You're going to stay there and watch, little pig? You might end up on a campfire if you're not careful. Right, I think that's it. It looks like all bees have gone home. Can we pick this up, please? Whoop, nope, you definitely can't. Definitely can't. Oh, right, fine. Go home. Go and get some leashes. Fine. Change of plan. At least I know that the bees are here. So what I will do instead is I'm going to go back over to the village, build up the apiary where the bees are going to be living, then come back, leash the bees up, and bring them to their new home. Slightly more long-winded way of doing things, but... nah, I suppose I really should have looked into whether you needed silk touch or not. Never mind, it's fine. I don't mind mildly wasting my own time. And there we have it. One nice new building for the area, one beehive apiary ready to go. So as you can see, we've got a little greenhouse section over there. That's where all of our bees are going to be being stored in. There's a bit of a green roof going on as well, just keeping in contact with our gardening theme that we've got going on, trying to make this area look like it's being tended by the people who live here, but it's not sort of overly manicured like, say, that area down there is, for example. It's a little bit wild, but at the same time, they're not letting it go too far. So we'll just have a little look at what's going on the inside before I go and fetch any bees and put it in there. That's going to make life difficult for us. But as you can see, little building, just going to go in. Done a bit of an interior in here as well. I have left this little space here. That is going to be for rice bags once I manage to get them, just because I think they look a little bit like sugar, which is what you would be feeding the bees during the winter. Anyway though, we've got some storage for some extra beehives running through here underneath the walkway. This is where our bees are going to be living. They've got plenty of space in here to be able to get to various flowers that they need. I've only got 3 hives, but that is going to be absolutely plenty. And how this section is going to work is behind each of these hives, we've got a mechanical pump that is underneath the hive, and that is going to be drawing honey out of it and then going down into these pipes. Each one of these is being powered by a water wheel that is just underneath it. The pipe then runs underneath this sort of little covered area that it's got. It goes underneath each of these hives and then out through there, out through the building into the other one. So as you can see, each of these has got its own power source. It should still be bee safe. The bees will be able to go and sit up against these shafts, but they shouldn't get trapped underneath them, I don't think. Anyway, so just have a little look through. As you can see, the pipe is coming through here. It then goes straight into the other building. And then from there, it's going to get stored inside these 2 big cylinders that we've got there. These are going to be our honey cylinders. If I just jump down, we'll go and have a look on this side. So the windmill that's up the top, that is got power coming through this shaft. That is then powering this other little mechanical pump that is going to be pushing the honey into the first of these big cylinders. And then the power is then just transferred from there over to the other mechanical pump, just so that both of these big tanks are able to fill up. Not at the same time, but I'll find is that all of the honey comes out of this one and then we fill this one first. But once that's full, this one will be able to fill too. From there then, I've got another little separate system. Another pipe that is coming out, and that is just going to a spout, just in case I want to be able to dispense honey into buckets or bottles or anything like that at all. I'll be able to do that nice and easily. Once again, it's being powered by its own little water wheel down at the bottom. Just giving a relatively neat little system, so we've got somewhere where we can store our honey and also somewhere where we can dispense it as well. And here is a little aerial view of the building as well. There's that windmill that I was talking about. That's the one that's going to be pumping our honey between the 2 tanks, making sure that they both stay nice and full. And that can be accessed just through this door, which then brings you out through that door on the other side so you can get to the windmill nice and easily. And so though, that's the apiary actually built. The only thing that it is missing is, of course, the bees. Need to go back and go and fetch them with some leads and bring them over. And then, yeah, I know what you're going to say. I really should have Silk Touch by now. And I probably should, and I probably will get it soon, so I'll get on with it, okay? Okay, so 3 bees now brought back. I've slept so that it's daylight outside. All I've got to do now is actually get them into their apiary. As long as 2 of them manage to get in, we should be fine. So as soon as I do that, they're all going to vanish. Come here, you. Right, come on, guys. Let's go and get you in your new home. Come on. There we go. Right, so little bees are now coming along. I've got about 6 of them in here so far. They filled up one of these hives and that one on the end. This one, I think there's only 1 little baby bee living in there at the moment. It might even be that one up there, but it's certainly taking a little bit longer to fill up, so I'll have to breed up a few more bees. And what I have done is around the back, I've just blocked off these sorts of areas where we've got bits and pieces of the cogs and the shafts turning, just in case there was any chance the bees could get stuck. I just wanted to make absolutely certain that they couldn't, so I've just blocked those off with a bit of andesite casing. But we can see, if we have a look down here, that the honey is starting to flow through, and so the last thing to do now is to just go and switch on the windmill, which is up at the top, and then hopefully we should be able to see those tanks starting to fill up. So we've just come through here. Here is the windmill. On you go. And let's go and have a look. And hopefully we should see a nice little inflow of honey coming in. You just go in. Any sign of... Oh yeah, there we go. It just arrived. Here we go. So the very first few bits of honey. Now what's going to happen is it'll come into this tank to begin with, but this is going to very slowly pump it straight through into this tank instead. So that's just going to be the one that fills up first, and also the spout will fill up as well. Yeah, we can see a little bit of honey just coming into there too. This is great though, so it means honey is now automated within our world. That means we can use it for making honey blocks, honey bottles, honey goodness all around, including good old limestone, which is one of the things I want to be able to build with soon. In fact, that will probably be what we have a look at next episode, is making a limestone farm, just so that we can start getting that built up in some good numbers. And in the meantime, I will of course do some more work on the bees. Oh, just one other thing that of mild interest did happen while I was waiting for the bees to grow up. I had a wandering trader come by and he has been able to sell me some tomato seeds, so I've now finally got one of the crops that's available from Farmer's Delight. Here they are, my little tomato plants. Give me one of those, and I'll build these up as well, and hopefully we can get a bit of a nice tomato patch growing somewhere. Don't know where just yet, but somewhere certainly. Anywho though, I think this has been quite a productive little day so far. We've been able to build up a nice new cliff, we've got a nice new apiary up there on the hill, and in general this area is just starting to look a little bit more on the built up side and more how it's going to be in the future. So one thing I do think though is that because this is obviously a farm and gardening area, that limestone farm is definitely going to have to be built back on the island. That is a far more reasonable place for somewhere like limestone to be being produced, so we'll have to go back to the other style. And in general, the gardening village is starting to get a bit more of an aesthetic, a bit more of a sort of feeling, more of a vibe to it, going for this very colourful, naturalistic sort of look that looks tended without being overly tended, I hope. Anywho though, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Happy Minecrafting everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!